Hey dancers, welcome back to my channel. I'm Claudia Dean, and if you're new here, then welcome. Now, we have a very exciting video today. I am going to be trying all different ballet steps, and I've made a list of my 8 favorite, well also not favorite, pretty much the hardest ballet steps you can do, wearing 2 different brands of pointe shoes to compare how they feel. So a few videos ago, you might have seen I had the wonderful Lauren from Dance Desire come to my studio and fit me in a few different brands of pointe shoes. And I kept 2 of those brands, and they were Capezio and Energetiks. And I thought it would be really fun to try different ballet steps using those 2 different brands. So I think let's just get straight into it. I think this is going to be very entertaining. We've got really hard steps ahead of us, and we're going to start off with Capezio. So let me quickly put on my pointe shoes. Also, can I just quickly point out, my assistant Wallace sewed these shoes. Look how amazing the sewing is. Interesting thing as well for me trialing these steps is like I'm very used to block pointe shoes, so these feel just so different. Like they're very light, like really light. I almost feel like I'm not wearing a pointe shoe, like it's crazy. So the first step I have on my list is fouettes. This is the first step in Capezio pointe shoes, and then next up we're going to do a comparison of me wearing the Energetiks pointe shoes trying fouettes, okay? But let's do them in Capezios first. Do 8. I feel like 8 will probably be sufficient. It's like so different to releve in these shoes, it's crazy. Okay. It's actually really hard to do with a ponytail as well. I should probably put my hair up. Okay, now I'm gonna go put my Energetiks on and try the same step. Okay, so I've got my Energetiks on. Let's try these fouettes. So I'm gonna try 8, okay? Ooh. Whoa, that was so much easier. So much easier in these shoes. Interesting. So fouettes, I am going to vote that I prefer the Energetiks. And then, how about at the end, I'll tell you all, based on which one I voted every single step, which shoe I prefer wearing out of the 2. Also, before I go any further as well, this video is not sponsored whatsoever. I know people are probably gonna think that, but this is not sponsored. So I've got my Capezios back on, and we're going to be doing some hops on pointe. So I'm just thinking maybe the Giselle hops, because everyone sort of knows them. I have literally never hopped in these shoes, and I think just going to go for it just to see what it's like. So, oh, these are easy. Whoa, they're actually really easy to hop in. Okay. Let's compare the Energetiks. So I've got my Energetiks on. Now let's try these hops on pointe. Interesting. So I think out of the 2, I actually prefer Capezio for the hops. So I'm going to vote Capezio for hopping. Now it's time to try normal en dehors turns from the corner. So I'm just going to go chassé pas de break 4 times. Let's do this. Wait. I forgot to tell you guys too, I've actually been on holiday in Europe for 3 weeks. So I really don't feel fit, but that's okay. I've really noticed, because I've done like a few steps now in these Capezios and Energetiks, but Capezio, I find them really hard to releve in. Like for some reason, like for me to get onto point, I find them much harder, but then you've got a step like hops, like when I just did hops before, they feel so easy to hop in. Like it's really interesting. It just shows like all different shoes do different things. Time to put on my Energetiks. Okay, got my Energetiks on. Let's go for it. Ooh-wee. I would say when I got used to the Energetiks, like the more I did, I'd probably say I prefer the Energetiks over the Capezio, just because it's much easier for me to releve like up onto the shoe. So for this step, I vote Energetiks. Okay, I've got my Capezios back on, and the next step that we're gonna try is grand fouettes. Let's do this, guys. You know what's like really weird? A step like that, they're so easy to releve on. That's super bizarre. It's like turning I found really hard, but then that was like so easy, like easier than I've ever done before. Time to put on my Energetiks. Okay, I've got my Energetiks on. Let's try the grand fouettes. Okay, interesting. I prefer the Capezios for the grand fouettes, for sure, definitely, because they just felt super easy to do on that particular step. So Capezio, you've won this one. Okay, Capezios are back on. The next step we've got to try is single and double pose turns from the corner. I'm ready. Try and do it 4 times. Yeah, and poses are super easy in Capezios. Like pose onto point, like to do that, it just feels super easy. I think as well because they're so light, like they're just light to step onto. Okay, time to try it in the Energetiks. So I've got my Energetiks on. Let's go for it. Ooh, that's close. I actually would say I prefer the Capezio when I'm doing poses, so single, double. It's so interesting because releving I find quite easy in the Energetiks, but anything to do with like pose or just like hopping, I prefer the Capezios. So yeah, for that step, I would say Capezio. Okay, now it's time to balance. So I've got my Capezios back on and I've got to balance in attitude for 8 counts in the Capezios. Let's do this. I'm just going to do a lower attitude. As I said, I've been on holidays for 3 weeks. Wow. I find these actually quite hard to balance in. Let me check the Energetiks. We'll put them on. Okay, I've got my Energetiks on. Let's try the balancing. Oh, you know what's so weird? Like, again, if I was to like just be on point, I would say the Energetiks feel a bit more sturdy to me, but balancing I must find a little bit easier in Capezios. So energetics might win. I balance longer in energetics. Energetics, you win that one. Energetics, Capezio, I think they're even right now. So let's see what happens when I do the next step. Okay, now I've got my Capezios back on. The next thing we've got to do is my weaker side, trying en dehors turns. So I'm actually thinking maybe something a little bit different. So we might do turns from 5th on my weaker side. So I've got to do 8 of them. All right, who's ready? Let's go. My left side, by the way. Break. Whoa. Whoa, I find them really hard to do. Take 2. I find them very different. As I said before, they're just so different to releve in. Okay, let's compare the energetics. Got my energetics on, let's go. I would definitely say I prefer the energetics for that step. Definitely. Like, again, it's just so much easier to releve. Now, I'm gonna get into my Capezios and we're gonna try the last step. All right, now I've got my Capezios back on, and the lucky last thing on the list is trying a grand jeté. And the real reason why I'm getting myself to do a grand jeté in each of these shoes is to hear the noise factor. That's what I'm really interested in. Now keep in mind, I haven't banged these shoes or anything, so they're pretty much brand new. Let's go. Pretty standard. I feel like these weren't like overly loud. We'll have one more go. Maybe I'll try doing 2. Yeah. Okay, the final step. So if I end up picking energetics for this, energetics wins. If I pick Capezio for this, it means it's a tie. So I'm going off, I guess, what feels like lighter. All right, let's do this. Got my energetics on. I actually prefer jumping in these. I do. I feel like there's like a little bit of extra spring happening. Like when I take off, like the shoe's actually helping me go up. So I pick energetics. Energetics, you won. Woo! I hope you all found this entertaining. I actually thought it was a really different style of video for sure. Something I haven't really done before. So hope you all loved it. And as always, I'll see you in my next video. Love you all lots.